Okay, this is lesson 17 for Algebra 2. We're going to add and subtract, and it says graph complex numbers. We're not even going to graph, we're just going to do add and subtract today, because graphing, we don't have to worry about that for now. So we're just going to add and subtract complex numbers. And the objective is students will add and subtract, not graph complex numbers, so don't worry about graphing it. I don't think you're going to visit that in the future. All right, steps are on the board. So just like with anything, when we add and subtract fractions, we need to know how to add and subtract fractions. We need to know how to add and subtract decimals. We need to know how to add and subtract anything. And now we're going to add and subtract complex numbers. And it's really pretty easy. We're just putting like terms together. Just like, let's say I had a big bag of apples and oranges that were all mixed up. How would I know how many apples and oranges there are? I'm going to sort them, right? I'm going to take one at a time, and I'm just going to put all the apples in one pile, oranges in the other pile, right? Except today we're dealing with imaginary numbers, which are numbers that are not real, right? So let's say I had a big bag of apples and oranges, and then I also give you a bag of imaginary apples. Well, what does that mean? What are you going to do with those imaginary ones? You're just going to combine them with the total, okay? So, number one, simplify, just watch right now. We've got negative 16 minus 6i plus negative 1 plus 11i. So the first thing I want to do is identify the operation. Okay, we have a plus sign here, so we're going to add this first binomial with the second binomial. So I'm going to work with first thing I'm going to do is work with my real numbers first, right? We know negative 16 is a real number, so we have negative 16 plus negative 1. I'm good at integers by now. Negative 16 plus negative 1 is negative 17, and I'm done. Okay. Next, I have my imaginary numbers. Negative 6i plus 11i, positive 11i. So that's going to be positive 5i. Okay. I know I identified all the terms. Next, I want to make sure it's in a complex number form. We have the real number first, and then the imaginary part second, so we know we wrote the complex number correctly. Therefore, we're done. That's how you do number one. Okay. This is just like adding numbers with integers, right? Okay. Watch me do number two. Same thing. We got a binomial minus a binomial. Okay. So first thing we want to do, we identify the operation as minus. We have negative 5 as our first real number. So we have negative 5 minus a negative 4. So we're really adding 4, so it's going to be negative 1 as our real number. Then we have positive 11 minus positive 7i, which is positive 4i. Next, I want to make sure that I have the answer as a complex number. So we have the real part first. This is our constant, negative 1 plus 4i as our imaginary number. It's correct, so it's in complex number form. That's it, numbers 1 and 2. This is just like adding and subtracting polynomials from Algebra 1, right? Do you remember doing that? Questions on numbers 1 and 2? Okay, cool. So let's have ones tell the two. Actually, let's start with twos today. Twos will talk to the ones about number 1, and then ones talk to the twos about number 2. I'll give you a minute or so to talk, and then please write this down. Go. Okay, number 3. Number 3. We got negative 11 minus 13i plus 3 plus 8i. Let's do this one together. Let's look at our constants first. We got negative 11 plus 3. What's negative 11 plus 3? What is it? Negative 8. Good. Then we got negative 13i plus 8i. What's negative 13i plus 8i? Negative 5 or 5i? It's negative 5i. Yep. The coefficient in front is negative, yeah. It could be whatever you want. It's imaginary. Well, actually, there's the right answer, though. Okay. Number 4. Let's do this one together. Okay, this one's a little, like, disorganized, right? We got 10i minus 14i minus negative 8 minus 4i. So this is what I would suggest you doing is, let's look at this negative in front of this parentheses, right? This negative needs to be distributed to each part of this inside terms, right? So what's a negative negative 8 really equal to? Positive 8. And what's a negative negative 4 equal to? Positive 4i. Okay? And then bring the rest of the problem down. We got negative 14i. And then we got 10i, right? Start with your constants first. What constants are up here? Just 8. Positive or negative 8? Positive 8. So you just bring that down first. 8. Okay? Are there any other constants? No. Now we combine all of the imaginary numbers. What's 10i minus 14i plus 4i? Okay? Let's see what your answers are. Ready, set, go. Well, you're all mostly right. Just wanted to show you some different ways to look at it. So negative 10, or 10i minus 14i is negative 4i, right? And then negative 4i plus 4i is 0i, right? So you could have done this. Is this wrong? No. It is redundant because we know there are 0 imaginary numbers, so the answer really is 8. Which brings me to a point. All real numbers could have an imaginary number, or no imaginary numbers next to it. Are these two answers different? Okay, they're not different. They represent the same thing, right? Is this first number a complex number? Yes or no? No, it's just a real number. Because are there any imaginary numbers in this number? No, so therefore it's automatically just a real number, not a complex number, right? 8. 8 is a real number, right? Couldn't we write any whole number like this, saying that there is no imaginary number? Do you see that? I'm trying to show you that there's different ways to write it. So, the true answer is 8. If you were like this, that's okay, because you're just saying we're just working with complex numbers and that there are no imaginary numbers. Which way is the right way to do it? It doesn't matter. It depends on what context you're writing. Sometimes you want to explain that detail. Okay? Number 5. Okay? Go. 3 minus 4i. That's your final answer. Okay? Last one, number 6. Go. What's negative 96 minus a positive 5? Negative 101. Right? What's 73 minus 90, or positive 90? Negative 17i. Okay? If you made a mistake, please fix it. Okay? So tonight is super simple, right? Wasn't this an easy lesson? Yeah. But raise your hand if you made a silly mistake at some point today. Okay, you kids are smart. You're quick. You know how to think, right? You need to slow down, make sure you're not making errors, though. That's really important. Precision, accuracy, okay? All right, that concludes the lesson here. So what I'd like you to do is discuss these 4 questions.